My apologies for that.
Sounds good. Thanks, Amanda. I did want to mention we asked about what mental health concerns and services were missing from our survey, and we got some great feedback there as well that we are going to be taking into consideration. Some of the items mentioned included play therapy, homelessness. I'm not going to read them all out, but suffice to say there's some really great services in Colorado communities. And we are going to think about how we can best display those on the OwnPath Care Directory. If you could go to the next one. So thank you so much, everyone who provided feedback on that recent survey. I also wanted to give a big thank you to folks who have been emailing us. We were experiencing a small bug related to some data updates that we are doing on the OwnPath Care Directory. And that bug actually impacted how the type of services were displayed on the care directory. This is in the process of being remediated, and my development team has assured me that it will be updated by Friday morning. So if you look today, you may still see some incomplete information around services on your listing. But if you look on Friday morning, that should be remediated. If you notice anything that is missing or incorrect, please email us. Our email is on this slide, and I will post it in the chat as well. It's cdhs_bha_ownpath_team@state.co.us. And if you are curious how to find yourself on the care directory, I put a screenshot showing our search bar. If you start typing into the search bar your name, you should pop up and find yourself. We are experiencing some data issues with names as well, so you may need to look up your legal name as opposed to your doing business as name or DBA name. And I also wanted to mention anyone who emailed us about those services bug, we will be following up with you by Friday. So expect to hear from us if you reached out. And with that, I will hand it back to Amanda. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thanks. There was one mention in the chat from Kevin that it would be helpful to sort based on DUI 4+ services. So I don't know if you have any update or status about that for Kevin.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kevin. That is on our radar. We have heard that feedback, and we are hoping to make that change in the next few months so that folks can do some more granular filtering on DUI classes and treatments.
Awesome, thanks, Alex. Any other questions for Alex regarding OwnPath? Okay, well, if you think of any, please feel free to drop those in the chat as we move along. Now I'm going to pass it off to Abigail for client care search.
Yeah, sounds great. And you can hit the next slide right away. Thank you. So we had sent this out via email to our user admins for client care search. If you're not familiar, user admins are the folks that help us to organize which users at particular organizations should have access to client care search. So those emails come out through a platform called Gov Delivery, and they look really similar, the same as the email notifications that you'll get from office hours. Gov Delivery is our new newsletter platform, so that's where a lot of our mass emails are getting sent out from. So wanted to just take a minute to promote a survey that we have going on a few client care search features. I'll post this in the chat right after I'm done presenting as well. This survey is built on Google Forms, and I know that a lot of organizations block Google Forms. So if you would still like to participate, you can give us an email at that CDHS BHA provider support email, and I'll be able to send you a PDF version of the survey in case you would want to respond that way. And another opportunity that we have coming up with this platform is we're still looking for participants for a longer term pilot experience. So we're looking for 1 to 2 inpatient or residential behavioral health provider organizations that would be identifying and onboarding the folks that most frequently refer into their service, have those folks in client care search, and then facilitate for a 3-week period referrals back and forth within the system. So I think a lot of folks that are familiar with client care search are on that email list, know that we've been testing out some features allowing folks to send referral client pre-screens and receive client referral pre-screens to try to help with some efficiency around care coordination. We're still investigating what types of providers and use cases this type of feature set would be most useful for. And that's one of the reasons that we're continuing to do these early pilots as opposed to going live with those features right away. So I'll put those links within the chat and then let that provider support inbox know if that's of interest to you. I do want to mention that my last day at the BHA is going to be next Friday. So if folks have been emailing me kind of personally for anything, that BHA provider support inbox is going to be a great place for you to go moving forward. So yeah, that's what I got.
Great. Thanks so much, Abigail. I'll pause here for a moment if anyone has any questions about the survey as well. Okay, moving right along. We're going to go to Ladder's provider directory. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Ladders, which is the tool that providers use for licensing purposes. Ladders also, for a period of time, I guess technically it still is live, but there is a Ladders provider directory, which was being used for individuals to be able to find a provider. So that is going to be discontinued on December 16th and will no longer be available for use. Ladders itself as a platform will still be available for licensing purposes. The OwnPath Care Directory will be replacing the Ladders provider directory. So the thing that Alex was just talking about, that's OwnPath Care Directory that will be replacing this version of the Ladders provider directory. And this has been mentioned before, but a lot of filter options are being made available on OwnPath specifically for opioid treatment providers, DUI education and treatment, and withdrawal management services. And in the coming months, the OwnPath team will be expanding those filter options on the directory so that people seeking care do have more options available. So the team will definitely provide an update regarding any of these new filter options. Also, we'd love to hear your feedback too. If you are looking in OwnPath and you feel as though a filter option is not available and it should be, please reach out to the team and let us know as well. Which Kevin, I mean, you did that earlier, so thank you so much for doing that. Okay, that is the update about Ladders. I will again pause here for a moment in case anybody has questions about this change. How long will Ladders be accessible? So Elizabeth, good question. So Ladders, in terms of using it for licensing purposes, will still be available. Ladders, as it relates to the provider directory portion of it, will be removed, unavailable on December 16th. So yeah, Ladders as for everything licensing, you can still use it, but the actual like provider directory where individuals can go search for people, that will not be available. Okay, we are gonna move right along. I'm gonna pass it off to Andrew regarding the Learning Hub.
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. For those of you who have not had the pleasure of speaking to before, I'm Andrew Kemp. I'm the product manager for Learning Hub. This one is a little bit late in terms of notice. Didn't really sync up well with our schedule for last month, but we on the Learning Hub changed our username format on the 4th of November, so last week. What originally happened when we launched the product in April was we had gone forward with using email addresses for people's logins, thinking that that would be nice and convenient and easy to remember. And then what happened in due course was we found that learners would perhaps register with a professional email address and change employers, and then would lose access to that old email address and they couldn't get logged in. That required our help desk to get involved there and ask some validating questions. In some cases, if it was a weekend, that might take a few days for that process to complete and for people to get their access back. So we were able to change this and make it first name, username. And now our learners can log in and change their own email address so they can administer that piece themselves. That allows them to obviously have that self-control there, but and if there's any issues with usernames, they can reach out to the help desk. So hopefully we've lowered the burden, we've lowered the time that's required to spend with the help desk in order to return their access to the platform. And so we appreciate all the learners who've bared with us while we kind of went with one strategy and learned a little bit about it and how it didn't work. And hopefully we've now improved things and will ensure quicker, faster access to the system and keep people engaged with the training as much as possible. If there are any issues, Amanda, if you can pop to the next slide, thank you. The support information link at the top of the Learning Hub main page there will reveal the phone number and the email address to get some support. So again, hopefully that will just be a quick phone call to the help desk and access will be restored there. Just as a little foreshadowing here, we are looking to change our user registration survey, again, in the spirit of improving the system and learning a little bit more about our students or our learners. We're going to be adding in some more questions to the survey, including capturing MPI, learning a little bit more about the type of populations that our learners serve and the locations, geographical locations, as well as workplaces, all in the spirit of, again, identifying the strengths and weaknesses and needs of our training population. So more to come on that. We'll talk about that next month. So I will leave a little bit of time there for questions. Anyone has any? Okay, hand it back to you, Amanda. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrew. All right, now I'm going to provide an update regarding our BHA website navigation menu. So our website recently underwent some changes. The navigation menu is the top blue bar when you go to the home page. So this menu recently changed. It went from 9 different pathways to 5 pathways. The first image here is what the navigation menu looked like before, and then the update, the second image is what it looks like after. And so Melody, one of our content designers, did a ton of research with providers and people in Colorado to really like clue in and find out what people are looking for when they go to the site. And so these changes are really intended to be user-centered and make it easier for people to find exactly what they need when they visit the site. So now there's an entirely new section dedicated for service providers, which presumably is a lot of the pages that you all use. When you hover over the 4 service providers, this is just a screenshot on the left of the different pages that will pop up. And then you can also click on 4 service providers and it will kind of pull up sort of what we call a landing page with the different options that are available. The biggest one, which I would assume that a lot of you use, is the technology and data systems, the image here that I have the star on. So this used to be called for providers. And so the naming of this page has changed slightly, and its intended purpose is now kind of being rerouted to be really focused on technology and data systems. So everything that you might need as it relates to CCAR or TMS or client care search, central registry, if there's any forms, all of the technology office hours, all of those things are still located on this technology and data system page. The only change is really the naming of it. Some other things to keep in mind that because of these changes, some URLs may have changed, but redirects have been put into place. So if you have bookmarked a specific page, yes, the exact URL may have changed, but it will redirect you to the correct page. And if you have any issues or questions about that, if you can't find a page, feel free to reach out to me through the provider support inbox, and I can definitely help you find it. I also want to mention that a lot of this research and the changes that we're making, nothing is set in stone, right? We want to make sure that the changes we're making are working for everybody. So we will have opportunities in the future as it relates to the website to engage in research and provide your feedback to us. So I will pause there again for a moment if you have any questions about this change on the website. Let's see, Kevin, you asked any updates to EHR integration with CCAR and TMS as an automatic data transfer to from the systems to prevent manual entries. That is a great question, and I do not have an answer directly for you, but that is definitely something that I can look into and connect with the right people to get an answer for you, unless anybody else on this call from BHA has an answer for Kevin.
I could just be, I think that Justin might be a great person to connect, and Amanda, I'll let you kind of like connect those dots after the call. But I know that the latest is we're currently still doing research, Kevin, on like the logistics around that. So I think we're still in that like research phase as far as I know. So no, I don't have any like specific updates towards when that research might be released or like what we're looking forward in terms of like a roadmap, but I know that work is still in progress. So we can get you that that update or whoever is the point person on that though.
Awesome. Thank you, Abigail. Okay. Well, that brings us to nearly the end. If anybody does have any questions, we can pause again for a moment to either put your questions into the chat or if you want to come off mute as well. And maybe let's do this instead. I know I just said we're going to pause here for a moment. I want to give these reminders first before I pause. Some coming closures as it relates to the holidays. So we have Thanksgiving coming up. So offices will be closed on Thursday, Thanksgiving, and then the day after it is considered the governor's holiday. So we will not be open on that day either. And then in December, Christmas and New Year's Day as well. So just wanted to give a heads up about those closures because those will be in holidays because those will be coming up soon. Okay, now I'll go back to questions or discussion if there's anything that anybody would like to chat about with us or anyone else that is on the call. Okay, I will take the silence for the time being as no, but we will stay on the call for a little bit longer. So everybody, this concludes the November office hours. Our next office hours will be December 11th, and then 2025 office hour dates will be released soon. So thanks so much for coming, and I will stay on, but everybody, you are free to go, and I'll send out a reminder, or I'll send out these slides as well. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody. For anybody that's still left on the call, feel free, if you do have any specific questions for us, to come off of mute or add them into the chat.